Firstly, upon this time, there are some patterns and paths of the new draft that has different and several articles vis-à-vis the Lebanese draft or the 1707 UN General Assembly, but the visit focused on to Tel Aviv that never resulted in any positive outcomes. And I think that there are some additional conditions from Netanyahu that lead to reality, to put an international supervision plus the one that already in place in Lebanon, and should have the Lebanese army and putting away the army of Hezbollah politically and militarily, and to increase the number of the Lebanese army to reach 10,000 times of the Lebanese army with the coordination with the UNIFIL and the international monitoring in order to have an increase of a chance that is related to the dimension of using military force. Unless there is a consensus of the Lebanese government to be the first and sole responsible of entering the armies not to be used by any more fraction. And the Israeli situation would allow to Israel, if there is no ability of the Lebanese government to control the arms, so that would allow the two additions parties proposed by Netanyahu to have the freedom of the military and security measurements by Israel, and most importantly in Israel to control the sky atmosphere and to enter in order to minimize the dimension of transforming the arms from one zone to another. And the Israeli reality in the path of negotiation seems that wouldn't have a positive impact before the US election. That was similar of what's happening in Gaza Strip. And the Lebanese draft that has several challenges and hinders, despite that Mikati indicated yesterday.
Yesterday, Lebanese Prime Minister Mikati spoke optimistically of an imminent ceasefire deal in Lebanon. However, his words today were very much more gloomy in light of Israel's massive airstrikes on Tyre and Baalbek. Does this mean that chances of a ceasefire in the very near future are declining at this point?
Up till this now, there is no horizons of establishing this draft, and the strike of Baalbek that has more than one target. The first one is killing the Shiite backup for Hezbollah that has several numbers of and the support of Hezbollah, so they're trying to put them away, and that's from one side. The second side is to use the military pressure to impose the status quo with pressuring Hezbollah to accept these conditions. The issue of Hezbollah that is rejecting these conditions without have a ceasefire, and then the negotiation. With respect to Mikati, he's optimistic, and there is some sort of consensus between Mikati and the other officials that was through the meeting of the Foreign Minister Blinken, and there is some sort of an acceptance by the Lebanese leader to have some sort of establishing the 1701 resolution, and to have the army in Lebanon instead of Hezbollah, and to monitor these sites. But the 2 points by Netanyahu, proposed by Mr. Netanyahu, that would hinder the agreement. I think there is some sort of not a full optimism, but Hezbollah is still negotiating with Berry, and it seems like there is some sort of coordination between Berry and Mikati based on the resolution of 1701. But for the Israelis, not only on the level that should be by the presence of the army in Lebanon, but the resolution indicated that there is a commitment between the two parties for Israel not to be enter in the future in the southern of Lebanon. I mean, to put them away or not to be allowed to enter this region.
Okay, will the United States mediators visiting the region at this hour be able to actually broker any deal, especially with reports claiming that Netanyahu would rather wait until after the results of the upcoming U.S. Presidential race are out before committing to any political process in Lebanon or Gaza? Your take, please.
My take it with respect to the Democratic parties represented by Biden means that should have a temporary truce or a settlement on the southern of Lebanon. But there is concern about the battle in the elections in America, specifically the current administration. But if Camilla, that should have some sort of an agreement. But now they are talking about the optimism and the positivity, whether they are on the levels of Hogestein or through the American media that would have some sort of a settlement in the near future, but on the reality that should know science of this settlement, but this is only just for the propaganda and the American public and reaching in the American pots. But I think that Netanyahu will hinder these paths that not give the way or pave the way for Camilla. Even if Trump wins, Netanyahu will continue to be achieved as indicated in a few minutes. That there is no deadline for this war, but he needs only to achieve his own goals. One of them is to establish the long term in the southern Lebanon, or removing all the threats by Hezbollah and Hamas movement or the Palestinian resistance, even if leave it for 2 to 3 months, or if Trump wins, would lead the future of changing this strategy, but Netanyahu's strategy up till now through his term, whether is to Harris or Trump to win, so has a strategy of removing all the threats and killing and the arms and proxies of Iran, and to cooperate with Iran with respect to the nuclear program, and has his own strategy to deal in this formula, whether in the